Welcome to the Rime Buddhist Center's Dharma Talk podcast, Achieving Peace Through Compassion. This podcast is a recording of the Dharma Talks given during our Sunday service. This talk was given by Lama Matthew Palden Gocha.
So for today's Dharma Talk, I want to begin with a question for you all. Not a philosophical one, but a practical one. And you don't have to answer this out loud, but just think about it. What are you holding on to right now? Maybe it's the plan for how this day should go. Maybe you're holding on to the hope that you win the Tonka. Maybe it's an opinion you're ready to defend. Maybe it's the hope for a quieter moment later today, or a worry about a time already slipping away. We all know this clutch, this grip. Imagine a parent exhausted, clinging to the one precious hour of me time, only to have a child need them. That flash of resentment, that's a grip. A practitioner clinging to the perfect silence of dawn meditation, but irritated by a distant lawnmower. That's that tightening, that's the grip. It feels like survival to protect what's mine, my time, my energy, my comfort, my story. This is the knot. The Dharma calls it ego clinging, and it's not a philosophical error, it's a somatic reality. A clench in the belly, an armor around the heart, a mental scrolling through lists that we're terrified to lose. And it is this very engine of our unease. So the path to freedom isn't about acquiring better things to cling to. It's about learning to outsmart this ancient, desperate habit of grasping. Out of the boundless and skillful compassion, the Buddha didn't just give us a lecture on non-attachment, but he gave us a tool, a revolutionary, subversive tool. That takes the very engine of our suffering, this need to have a me and a mine, and use it as the fuel of our awakening. And that tool is the offering of a mandala. So what is this tool? Let's just look at it closely. In Tibetan, the word for mandala is kilkor. Kil meaning center, kor meaning circumference or the surrounding. At its simplest, a mandala is you, the practitioner, at the center of your perceived world. But in this practice, it becomes our training ground for a complete revolution. A mandala unfolds in three levels: the sacred universe, the pure environment of awakening, a symbolic image like sand paintings expressing perfect harmony, and an offering, the entire cosmos given away without holding back. So why is this offering so critical? Because the Bodhisattva path requires a complete transformation of how we relate to everything. And that transformation depends on two engines: the accumulation of merit, the positive force of openness, connection, and generosity that aligns the heart with the path. And the second is the accumulation of wisdom, the direct insight into the nature of reality. Jamyong Kongtrul writes, in this practice, the aspirant perfects the accumulation of merit by the supremely meritorious act of repeatedly offering the entire universe to the sources of refuge. He perfects the accumulation of transcending awareness by maintaining the understanding that this offering, its recipients, and the giver himself are not things in themselves, but empty. End quote. Without these two, awakening cannot mature. And of all the methods, the mandala is especially profound. Dilgo Khyentse Rinpoche said, of all practices, the offering of the mandala is the most profound and skillful way to accumulate the essential provisions of merit and wisdom, without which we cannot travel swiftly along the path. Now, when we offer, we often visualize a traditional map. Mount Meru in the center, the continents in the four directions, and then encircled by the Iron Mountains. This is not ancient geography. It's a mirror. So let's look into it. Where exactly is your Mount Meru? What is the central, towering story you build your world around? I am a helper. I am a victim. I'm the one who knows. And what are your 4 continents? Your work, your relationships, your health, your spiritual identity, the realms you constantly survey, manage, and try to control, and the ring of iron mountains. Those are your hardened defenses, built to keep loss, criticism, and pain at bay. This world system, as Jigme Lingpa teaches, is the very environment of sentient beings, vast, impermanent, intractably interdependent. And we are a mandala. Our spine is Mount Meru, our limbs are the 4 continents, our eyes are the sun and moon. This body, this life with all its treasures and troubles, this is the first cosmos we learn to cling to, and so it becomes the first cosmos we must learn to offer. At its heart, this is radical training in the Dana Paramita, the perfection of generosity. Kenshin Palden Sherab Rinpoche cuts to the chase, and he says, among the 6 paramitas, the first is generosity. Why do we need to give and share? To counter the habit of ego clinging, which is always grasping, always holding on or holding back, end quote. The Mandala offering is total generosity. It's a psychological subversion. Externally, we offer the universe everything beautiful, powerful, or desirable out there. Internally, we offer the inner universe, this body, this speech, this mind, our secret joys, our buried shames, our bank accounts, and our reputations. All of it. What we have, what we are, what we dream of owning. Sometimes when we hear offer everything, something inside of us screams, balks. A voice whispers, if I let go of this story, this identity, this safety, who will I be? The Mandala offering does not erase who you are. It's not an annihilation. It's a gentle, sustained revelation of what has always been here. When the desperate grasping finally relaxes. And what remains is not nothing, but a capacity for engagement that is less burdened, more responsive, and inherently connected. As we practice this mandala, it reveals itself to us in 3 increasingly subtle layers. And each layer loosens ego clinging at a different depth, like turning a jewel to see the new facets of the same truth. The outer mandala is the offering of the external universe. Here we gather up the entire world as we experience it. Mountains, rivers, forests, and cities, the sun and the moon, the seasons and directions, wealth, beauty, power, pleasures, and success. In traditional imagery, this appears as Mount Meru, the 4 continents, the subcontinents, the precious substances, and the encircling mountains. But psychologically, this is far more intimate. This is the world we spend our lives managing. My house, my job, my partner, and my future. The outer mandala trains us to notice how reflexively we relate to the world as resource and threat, as something to acquire, protect, and control. By offering the entire outer universe, we rehearse a radical truth. Nothing out there exists for my ownership alone. This offering softens possessiveness. It loosens the belief that security comes from arranging the world just right. This is the generosity that begins to untie fear. The inner mandala turns the practice inward. Here, what is offered is no longer the world around us, but this very body and life. We offer this body of flesh and bone, this breath that cannot be owned, the speech that longs to be heard and understood, this mind with its memories, wounds, and hopes. We offer our abilities and limitations, our virtues and our embarrassments, our spiritual accomplishments and our doubts. This is where the practice meets resistance, because the inner mandala touches the most protected illusion of all. This is who I am. Here we discover how tightly identity itself is clenched. Roles, narratives, self-images we believe we must defend at all costs in order to exist. By offering the inner mandala, we are not rejecting the self. We are loosening the belief that the self must be constantly reinforced. This offering cultivates humility without collapse and confidence without armor. This is generosity applied directly to identity. The secret mandala goes to the root. Here, what is offered is not an object at all. It is the very nature of our mind, empty, luminous awareness itself. At this level, the mandala is no longer constructed. It is recognized. We touch the truth expressed by Jamyang Control. The offering, the one who offers, and the one who receives are all empty of inherent separate existence. This is not an idea to believe. It is just a moment of seeing. It is seeing that the machinery of ego clinging stalls. There is giving, but no solid giver. There is receiving, but no entity who possesses. There is generosity, but no boundary where it begins or ends. And this is where the accumulation of wisdom matures. Generosity and insight merge. Now, you don't need to fully access the secret mandala to begin. Even a brief relaxation of grasping, even a single moment of offering without calculation is already an echo of this deeper layer. The sincere wish to let go, that flicker of willingness amidst the clinging, it's already the mandala revealing itself. So, how do we start this revolution? Well, we start exactly where we are, with exactly what we have. Patrul Rinpoche, in the words of my perfect teacher, is wonderfully practical. He says, the material out of which the mandala should be made depends on your means. At worst, you could even use a smooth, flat stone or a piece of wood. End quote. The offering piles can be rice, it can be pebbles, even a handful of sand. It is your intention, that revolutionary intention to let go, that carries the power. You may use the mandala mudra, right? Feel your hands form Mount Meru, the 4 continents. Feel your spine as the central axis. And as you recite the mandala, let the words be the release from the center of your chest. Idam Guru Ratna Mandalakam Niyatayami. I send forth this mandala to you, precious gurus. Release. This simple act, you gather all 6 perfections. The perfection of generosity is the offering. Discipline is the continuity. Patience is the steadiness. Diligence is the joyful effort. Concentration is the clear visualization, and wisdom in the glimpses of emptiness. So therefore, I invite you not to just contemplate, but to experiment. Here is the practice for the next 24 hours. Choose one instance of daily clinging. The clutch on your phone, the grip on being right in a conversation, the hoarding of a moment of peace. That very instant you feel that familiar tension, that clench, pause. In that pause, whisper inwardly, I offer this. Offer the phone. Offer the need to win. Offer the guarded silence. Don't just analyze, just offer and notice. Does the knot loosen, even a fraction? Does the world just for a second feel more spacious? That small breath of freedom, that's the mandala coming to life in you. This is the alchemy beginning, the leaden weight of mind transforming into the golden light of connection. The mandala offering is not ultimately about giving something away. It's about the staggering discovery that nothing was ever truly owned in the first place. It performs the alchemy our hearts long for, transforming scarcity into innate abundance, turning the painful knot of me and mine into the boundless field for the benefit of all. If you remember nothing else, remember this. Whatever you are clinging to at this very moment, your greatest treasure or your deepest worry, is already perfect mandala. It is already sacred universe, waiting not to be clutched, but to be offered. In that offering, wisdom dawns. In that release, compassion flows naturally. May your practice reveal the boundless freedom that is your true nature. And may you have compassion, wisdom, gratefulness, and joy. And I hope that this Dharma talk has been beneficial to you.
Thank you for listening to the Rime Buddhist Center's Dharma Talk podcast. Music was provided by Barefoot Bran Music. Please consider supporting the Rime Buddhist Center by making a donation at our website at www.rimecenter.org/donate.